Hello everybody, Solo Black 313, Rise and Ride coming at you. And I know it's been about 2.5 months since I made my last video. So for those of you who are just now joining me, I'm Solo Black 313, and my videos are all related to motorcycle content. Motorcycle repair, motorcycle camping. I showcase motorcycle equipment. This is your first time once again. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's get to it. Yeah, I haven't put out a video a little over 2.5 months. Always a good reason. Reason number one is I moved. And as you guys know, moving can be a daunting experience. Oh my goodness. And the second reason that I didn't put out a video, haven't put out a video in 2 months, is because of, as I said in some of my earlier videos, I was looking for a more traditional job. I was going to stop doing the independent thing. Being independent is great. I love working for myself. But sometimes, man, you know, you got to go back to work. I mean, I didn't have any medical insurance. And yeah, I had to start applying for jobs, which I started applying for jobs probably back in, probably July of 2021. So now I have a new job as a regional director of maintenance. So that's what I've been doing. But today's video is about my Honda Shadow, and I'm going to give you a little bit of history about the Honda Shadow. Now, the Honda Shadow has been around since like 95, and the Ace, I have the Honda Shadow Ace Edition, and this is the bike that made Harley Davidson sue Honda, or try to sue Honda. Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Harley tried to sue Honda over the Ace version. And let's get this straight, there are two Ace versions that came out. Now, I have the 750 version, and then they had the 1100 version. I think that was the VTC1, and that was the motorcycle that Harley took Honda to court because of that single pin crank. Basically, yeah, they were suing them about how the bike looked, but more so they were suing Honda because of the sound that the single pin crank produced. You know, you've heard it before, potato, potato. Now, I've never mistaken a Harley for a Honda. I mean, I've just never mistaken it. To me, they don't look alike. I don't care. The 750 or the 1100 does not look like a Harley of the same period to me. But it has fooled a lot of people. And yes, I have had people look at my bike and say, "Oh, hey, that's a nice Harley." So apparently, Harley had something. You know, they say, "Hey, this bike, it looks too much like ours, and it sounds too much like ours." So, you know, hey, we're gonna take these guys to court. Now, I'm not a copyright lawyer by no stretch. I don't know, but as I understand, I guess you can't patent the sound, you know. And I'm not getting off that. This subject has been debated for years, you know, if you can patent the sound. I know musicians can sue for copyright violation in some of their songs. If the song's melodies sound the same, if the chords are the same. And I think there have been certain musicians that have sued other musicians because of I guess it would be like a tone violation or a copyright of music. So I don't know, but it didn't work with Harley. Harley didn't. I mean, nothing came up with the suit. It was dropped out. I think it was in court for like 5 years before the suit was dropped by Harley. But yeah, it's it's not that serious to me. Now, my Honda Shadow Ace is a 2001, and I've had this Honda Shadow Ace for just not quite 4 years yet. And this is how my Shadow looked when the first day I brought it home. Boy, I was really happy about that. I wanted a cruiser, and I got the Honda Ace. Now, this is how the bike looks for the most part now. And I do a lot of things on this Shadow. I've camped on this Shadow several times. I've gone to several state parks and several national parks on my Shadow. It's a beautiful bike. I even ride my motorcycle in the wintertime. My Shadow, like I say, is a 750, 2001. It's got about 45 horsepower, and the torque is rated right around 43 horsepower. Now, I ride this bike fast. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I ride it like it's a sport bike. And it's not a sport bike, but this Shadow, I can get this Shadow low, and I do scrape pegs quite a bit. But at 45 horsepower, it's not going to snatch your arm. I mean, it's not the fastest, and the torque is only like, say, 43, somewhere in there, 43 newton meters of torque. It's not going to snatch your head off. And people have debated, is it a good bike to start on? And yes, it can be, because it's only, like I say, it's only got 45 horsepower and 43 foot-pounds of torque. The only thing that I would say maybe a fresh beginner would have a problem with would be the weight, and it's not heavy. Now, this bike is only 500. I think it's like 540 pounds wet. As opposed to my Honda ST 1300, I have a 2004. That bike weighs 730 or 40 pounds wet. I mean, it is a heavy bike. So if someone is new to riding, I don't care if you're 21 years old or you're 40. Yes, until you got used to the weight, it could be kind of intimidating. But would it stop a new rider from riding this bike? I don't think so. Like I say, only because of the horsepower rating and the torque rating. So I don't think it's an intimidating bike. Now, like I say, I've camped on this bike. I've taken this bike out of Michigan. As you guys know, I live in Detroit, Michigan, and I've taken this bike out of state several times. Now, you also know, like I said earlier, I have an ST 1300. That is my primarily touring bike. It's a sport tour, but I primarily tour on the ST 1300. But let me tell you, there's not a place I'll take that 1300 that I won't take this Honda 750 Ace. I mean, I've gone to Chicago on this. I went to the Weber Grill in May. I took my Shadow here, I think it just depends on how I'm feeling and what I want to do and how much I want to carry. A lot of time that determines what bike I go camping on. Of course, I can carry a lot. I can carry a lot on this right here, but I can carry more on the ST1300 because I have the top case and I have the hard side panniers. Now, I do have soft panniers for this one, for the Ace, so I can carry quite a bit of stuff, and I have a rack on the back. So, you know, I guess mainly it depends on how I feel. Now, the only other thing that like I explained when I went to Chicago, this bike it came with a windshield, but excuse me, I don't ride with a windshield on this bike. I just don't. When I'm riding in the city of Detroit, I'd never have a windshield on this bike. But if I'm going out of town, yes, I do. The Honda ST1300, yes, it has a windshield that goes up electronically, and I use that quite a bit. When you're taking a trip, you don't want that wind on you. After 4 years, I've had this bike, I say almost 4 years, and I can say that, I mean, it's just a great bike. Now, I've heard some reviewers, I'm talking about motorcycle reviewers, these guys that's all they do is ride around the country and review bikes, and they go to Belgium and Spain and Portugal and Dakar. They've made older videos about the Honda Shadow, and you know, because they ride so many bikes, and they ride, you know, Ducatis and Aprilias and MV Agustas and Kawasaki's. The bikes they ride run the gambit. So I was looking at a famous reviewer talk about the Honda 750 Shadow Ace, and he was talking about, you know, hey, he gave it some good points, but he found it to be overall a boring bike. Without being biased, if I can be, I don't find this Ace to be boring at all. I mean, you gotta keep it into context what it is. It is a mid-size cruiser. It's not a sport bike. You know, it's not a sport bike. No stretch of the means. This is the bike you get on, and you just cruise around like I'm doing right now. So no, it's not gonna give you a thrill like, you know, hitting, you know, 145, 150 miles an hour. And no, it's not going to, you're not going to get like a lean angle of 45 freaking degrees on it when you hit a corner. But it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be ridden like that. You know, if you want to do 45 degrees on a sport bike, man, go buy you a sport bike. You know, this is a cruiser. And that's what it's meant to do. And but I say you can't get it. You can get it low, you know, but you're not gonna get it as low as a sport bike. It's just not gonna happen. This bike is very, very dependable. Like I say, I ride the bike in the wintertime, and I've, you know, ridden it down south. I start off in Detroit in the wintertime, and I took it down to Florida, no problem. Put some wind protection on, and you just ride, because you got to remember, at one time, a 750cc motorcycle was the big daddy. You know, and that wasn't that long ago, like in the late 70s and 80s. The 750 was considered the big boy. You know, so I find it to be very, very dependable. I get about 50 miles to the gallon, depending. I think the most I ever got to a gallon of gas on average was about 58 miles to the gallon. And last year I changed the gearing on the bike. The rear gear in the back had a 41 tooth sprocket, and I kicked it down to 39 because I wanted to stop the vibrations on the at highway speeds. So by taking 2 teeth away, I lowered the RPMs and lowered the vibration. And so I didn't see any significant drop in gas by doing so. I didn't change the fronts. The front sprocket is a 17 tooth, and I left that as it was. And like I said, I just changed the rear sprockets, the rear sprocket to a 39 tooth to a 41. So, and modifications to the bike, other than the gearing, and I have a cigarette port with a vodometer here. I haven't done any modifications to the bike, you know. It's running Dunlop 404D tires. That's what it came with, and that's what I run on here, and they're pretty good. I can run through a set of tires. I don't look at it as being miles, or for some reason I never write the mileage down, but a set of tires has lasted me, you know, a couple of years. Okay guys, sorry about that. I had some technical difficulties. The SD card that I installed wasn't the right one, so it shut down. But making a long story short, this is my 2001 Honda Shadow Ace 750. And like I said, it's had for 4 years. It's been a great bike. So if you enjoyed this video, I want you guys to give a thumb up or give a thumb down if there was something that wasn't accurate or you didn't like it. Hey, give it a thumbs down, leave a comment below, let's talk about it. And also, I'd really appreciate you if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm at 300 views in a little over a year's time, trying to make that 1,000 mark, so it'd be a great help if you subscribe to my channel. Alright guys, Solo Black, 313, rise and ride, and I'll see you in the next time.